Last week, the president said for those governors that won't get in line with his vaccine mandate, he said, quote, "I'll use my power as president to get them out of the way," end quote. Really? Well, a number of these Republican governors are standing up, and they're vowing to take legal action in response to the president's mandate. On Friday, some of them took part in a call to organize a legal challenge, including my next guest, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, who joins us now. Governor, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me back on, Tony. Good afternoon.
So the president says he's going to get you out of the way. That's interesting. How's he going to do that?
I tell you what, he's talking tougher to the Republican governors and unvaccinated Americans than he did to the Taliban, which is disappointing to say the least. But I'm not too worried about that. We're standing up for small business owners and working Georgians here. HR departments are already flooded with work that they're doing, trying to find more people in a really tight workforce environment because the president's been paying people to stay home instead of get back in the workforce. And the last thing they need is another federal mandate, whether it's a vaccine or anything else. I know as a small business owner for over 35 years, I don't want the government telling me what to do every day.
Now, the rule from OSHA has not yet come out for us to determine how the Department of Labor is going to enforce this mandate on roughly 100 million workers in the private sector. But to your point, Governor, I would think with what we've seen happen, the disruption of the supply chain, the fact that the government is paying people to stay at home, I would think one of the unintended consequences here is some of those employees that are saying, "I'm not doing this," they get fired, they go on unemployment. How does that help us?
Well, that's exactly right. And they're also, don't have time to do this. When the order came out, Tony, last week, I've talked to two different business owners today, and they're in this, right in this wheelhouse of having, around 200 employees, but they're small businesses, guy that has 6 hardware stores, guy that has a flooring business with multiple locations. And he's like, we've been trying to figure this thing out all weekend. I spent all weekend trying to figure out what's going on here. Well, they don't even have the orders out yet. So they're just creating havoc with small business people when they're already having a tough enough time dealing with the issues during the COVID pandemic, and to create really this doubt that's out there of like how this is going to work. How am I going to implement it? And Saturday I was talking to a company, Home Depot, and there's other large companies here, and they're like, we have 500,000 employees. Like, it's going to take us forever to implement something. And we already had programs we were working to get our people vaccinated. I've been vaccinated. I think folks should get vaccinated, but I don't think government mandates is the way to do this. And as the president said, it's not about freedom. This is everything about freedom, because if you allow this to happen now, then what are they going to do next? They're going to tell you what your hours are, or, when you need to give people vacation, when you don't. It's on and on. So I think it's unnecessary. And, as soon as we can get some details on what the rules are going to be, then we'll know where the legal fight's going to take stand.
I think they're going completely backwards at this. If they wanted the American people to get vaccinated, they should say you can't have the vaccine. And then people would be standing in line to get it. But to your point, I think there are many of us, I'm not anti-vaccine. I've got natural immunity. I've had the virus. They're not having a conversation about that. I was just talking with Congressman Murphy about that. But there are people who are saying just what you said. If we allow them to force us to do this, what's next? Not just within the workplace, but as Americans who value our liberty and our freedom. If we surrender on this, we've already shown that we're willing to give up essential freedom.
Well, unfortunately, that's what this administration has been doing, dividing people instead of uniting them. And also, I think it's just distracting from other crises that we have that are affecting the United States of America, like at the border, the southern border, and then also the disastrous pullout of Afghanistan. And I guess they're just trying to change the narrative in the news media, but I think they've underestimated this. I think the more people really realize how much work it's going to be and how impossible it's going to be to do this, they're going to become just ready to pull their hair out. And, part of this was testing to get kids back in school, which, I'm fine doing that. the problem is we started sending kids back to class over a month ago. This is something they should have been doing in June or July. And, I think testing's one thing, but mandating the vaccine's completely a different story. I think, especially for children, that's a decision that their parents need to be making, not the government.
You're right. And we just played a clip from this weekend where the Surgeon General suggesting that the administration may be going in that direction of mandating it for children. I want to play a clip from the president from his speech talking about the schools. Clip number 9, please.
And tonight, I'm calling on all governors to require vaccination for all teachers and staff. Some already have done so, but we need more to step up. Vaccination requirements in schools are nothing new. They work.
So, Governor, what's your approach when it comes to public education in Georgia?
Well, we're not going to mandate teachers get vaccinated in the state of Georgia, or any other state employees, or anybody that is getting a state service is not going to have a vaccine passport to get that service. I'm with you, Tony. I think the mandates don't work. I think there's been so many mixed messages coming out of this administration that people don't trust anything they're saying. So when they're pushing something, it immediately raises doubt in some folks' mind. The president himself said, get vaccinated, take your mask off. Now they're mandating that you wear a mask again, or they want to do that. And they've been flip-flopping on a lot of these issues. And we're just not going to do that in the state of Georgia. We prioritized teachers early on in the process, months and months ago. Many of them have been vaccinated. But I'm not going to be the one that says, to a young female teacher that may be pregnant or in childbearing years, that you've got to get this vaccine that some haven't fully been approved yet. Yeah. I'm very confident in the vaccines, but if I'm in that position, or if that was my wife or my sister, I would be telling them, you need to get that advice from your doctor.
Yeah,
you need to talk to your doctor about that.
Right.
Not some politician.
Yeah, absolutely right. Governor, we're out of time, but I want to thank you again for joining us, and thank you for standing up. I know the citizens of Georgia appreciate it. I certainly do. Thanks so much for being with us.